Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is Fierce Female Friday, April 21st. Finally, Friday. We made it through the week, Fashion Dolls, and we are back with Girl Talk today. We're going to be getting into some things from body image to mental health to affirmations with my girls, Savannah McIntosh, who is the owner of Savvy Event Brands, and also actress Danielle Ward, who is a writer and actress as well too. So my ladies are going to be joining me, and we're going to be getting into some things. I see Danielle is here. Let me go ahead and share this live out here. Make sure you guys share the live also, because we're going to be talking about some things that you guys at home might can relate to. All right? So I see you guys all are coming in, and I did a girl talk with my girl Blue Harmony. So make sure you guys, I see her, make sure you guys go and check her out and check that girl talk out. That was amazing also. All right? So as you can see, empower women, and I am rocking Foxy Brown Pam Grier on my shirt today, so to represent the whole conversation. All right, so while we're waiting on my ladies, let me go ahead. My girls are here. I see Savannah and Danielle. We're going to get right into this girl talk. The first part of the conversation is going to be on body image, and we're also going to be talking about self-esteem. And I noticed the conversation surrounding Lizzo. We're going to get into that, so let me add my ladies up here.
Hey there.
Hey girl,
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are
I'm
you?
fantabulous. Thank you.
Hey girl, hey Savannah.
Hello.
All right, my ladies are here, and we are going to get into the conversation. But before we get into the conversation, ladies, you are more than welcome to introduce yourselves.
You can go first.
Okay. Okay. My name is Danielle Ward, and I'm an actress, writer, filmmaker, director, and just a fun, loving person.
My name is Savannah McIntosh. I am the founder and CEO of Savvy Event Brand, and I'm also a manager of two wonderful actor and artists out of Baltimore.
All right, fashion dolls, and you guys know who I am. I am Miss Stevie, talk show hostess, beauty and style influencer. And you know we're going to keep the conversation going surrounding things, all things Black here on my platform. So I would be remiss if I didn't keep the conversation on with this one, which a lot of women and men at home can relate to, and that is body image. Now, we've seen the conversation surrounding Lizzo and Candace Owens. She made some very disgusting comments about Lizzo, and Lizzo clapped back. She says, F your beauty standards. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. And when Danielle was here, we kind of talked about, how they like to typecast certain actresses to fit a certain stereotype. Like if you're very curvy or voluptuous, they want you to portray a certain role. And I've also had the conversation with a few other actresses that came on my platform. So I'm going to start it off by saying this, and then I'm going to hand it on down to my ladies and they get their opinion. Can we? I might be in trouble for this, but I'm pretty sure a lot of Black women are thinking it at this point. I'm gonna need y'all to stop policing Black women's bodies. Period. Period. Because we're not all shaped the same. That's for one. You tell us when we go in for these jobs and positions, you tell us that we need to tone down because this is too big on us. Our butt are too big. But guess what, baby? If you go all the way back to the motherland, our ancestors are shaped very curvy. It's something about the way a Black woman is shaped, from the way the arch of her back when she walks into the room. You know we're there. Our curvy. If you go to the Essence Festival, you're going to see all sorts of Black women all over the world. That's what's so unique about us. We're not all shaped the same. And as far as Lizzo goes, I know she's tired of it. My heart is crying for her, literally. My heart goes out to her because on a daily to have to deal with this, which goes to the second part of the conversation, the second topic, mental health, because it does take a toll on you. Reading all of these comments from what society views as what the perfect body is. And I can give you an idea of what the perfect body or what people think the perfect body is. And that is someone who is shaped like a Jennifer Lopez or a Beyonce or a Tiana Taylor or the Victoria's Secret models. Not, I'm here to let you know that we as Black women, we're not all shaped the same. That's what's so unique about us. And even to my girls up here, Danielle and Savannah and others. So after pregnancy, it goes on a lot of women to be a certain standard. So shout outs to Sierra. Sierra says, I'm not going to go back into what they call it post-baby body, because there's a lot of pressure on women to get back into shape. Oh, you got to look, you got to get fit, you got to do this, or to fit the perfect mold of what is the perfect body. So that's my question to you guys out there. What is the perfect body? Because a lot of you view, okay, big boobs. We're now in the 20th century, where it's now about BBL, and that's a whole different part of the conversation. But we can go there too, because I know a lot of women are just like, okay, we look in the mirror, and if you're raising black girls are going to grow up. My earring just fell out. Black girls are going to go and look in the mirror, your daughters, and they're going to say, Mommy, what's wrong with me? They're going to look at it and say, something is wrong with me. And they're going to point out that flaw, and they're going to say, I need to change that flaw. And it's all because of what society sees as what the perfect body type is, what the perfect body is. So I know Lizzo's got to be tired of it. And I'm quite tired of it for her. If it's not Lizzo, it's Serena Williams. If it's not Serena Williams, it's Michelle Obama. And Michelle Obama, our first lady, always made it her business to make sure that she was fit. This is deeply rooted in misogyny, which is what I talked about in my last conversation with Savannah, on how Black women's bodies are supposed to be shaped. You're supposed to look feminine. You're supposed to look, have curves. The woman's supposed to be soft and gentle. But think of Florence Griffin, am I pronouncing it right? Florence Griffin Joyner, the Olympic athlete, and Sha'Carri Richardson. Y'all use misogyny on these women because their arms, their arms are very strong. They work out a lot. They're athletes. They're supposed to. But there's a lot of pressure on Black women, predominantly, especially in the workplace, on what you're supposed to look like, how you're supposed to dress. If I'm coming in a workplace, in the office, boardroom or whatever, and I'm dressed in my suit, whatever, you're going to face some sort of sexism or misogyny from mainly men, especially we live in a world where it's based on patriarchy. And men have the upper powerful. And it puts a foot on Black women's neck, saying that we need to do this and we need to tone this down. It's natural to us. And these things we get from our ancestors. So I'm going to pass it on down to my ladies. A little long-winded. I'm up here on my soapbox preaching today. The word breakfast logic, I came to bang literally because I've seen the conversation surrounding Lizzo, and I'm tired of it. And I know as Black women, we're tired of it too from society. So my girl Savannah here works with models. She works with actors. And I'm pretty sure that these actors and these models go back to her and say the most uncomfortable things. I've experienced this. And it hurts my heart to hear what goes on behind the scenes. Even models come forefront and say, I've experienced racism. I've experienced body shaming. Because see, back in the early 90s, we didn't have social media. If you go all the way back, it was based on one person taking a picture of you and then going to the press, paparazzi. Now you have social media, which makes it even more difficult because you're going through so many opinions, so many comments. And even for me sometimes, I've never really had to turn off my comments except for one time I had one troll. And they were saying, oh my God, it looks like you filthy. Let me be honest and put this out here on the table right now. Every now and again, I'll play with a filter, but who hasn't? And the thing about it is, it's all about fun. Social media is about creating an illusion, a glamour, giving people the facade of what you think it ought to be when it's not. It's like smoke and mirrors, right? And so I'm going to pass it down to my lady, Savannah and Danielle.
Oh, well, your initial question was, what is the perfect body, right? And to me, a healthy body is a perfect body. So one person's healthy body, you could be 6 foot tall, 240 pounds and that's your healthy body versus someone that's 5'2". So it's really personal, you know. And I had a doctor years ago where, like, on the BMI chart, I would be considered like obese, right? But he's like, Danielle, if you are exercising X amount of minutes a day or a week and you're sweating, and, you know, thank God, right now I don't have any high blood pressure, you know, no high cholesterol, anything like that. He's like, I'm not worried about you. So I had a good doctor. He wasn't concerned about the weight on the scale. He was more concerned about what was going on the inside, not how I felt. But industry-wise, there are multiple factors going on, right? So if the beauty standard, the European, that's already, you know, because a lot of people, like, I'm top heavy. I've always been top heavy, even when I was small. Can't get around these things, you know. So then you're being objectified by people, you know, in the industry or just wherever. So there's a lot of things going on. I don't want to get off the topic, but I think because of the images that we see in television, music videos, and things like that, as far as a standard of beauty, that's what messes us up. And I think it's very important, if we're parents, that when our kids are little, that we are nurturing them and empowering them, so that when they are in school, they can shield themselves from any kind of comments about their looks, their hair, or anything, and to be proud of it. You got 14 hair, rock that first hair. You know what I'm saying? And to not allow them to kind of fester into an adult, because that opens up a whole other can that I'm sure we'll get into that. So.
So I'm gonna piggyback off of you, because I was going to say the same thing. I think it's a healthy body, and it's what your body looks like to you. You know, exercising, eating right. I want to go back to something you said about having children. You know, when you get older, your body changes after you have children. You know, so the older you get, your body changes. And, you know, us as women, you know, we go through this mental thing about how we looked when we were 13, 14, 15, 16, you know, in our early 20s and 30s, and when we get to a certain age. So for me, you know, working out, eating right, and whatever my body is at this time, my body fluctuates. I'll go up, down, I'll be small, I get at a certain weight. Going back to the doctor, they'll tell you that, well, for your height, this is what you need to be. But as you were saying earlier, we are African American, we are Black women. Our bodies are not the same. You know, going back to runway, back in the day, runway girls used to be so skinny up and down and tall. These days, you can be thick, you can be slim, you can be in between, you can be all that. And I love that, you know, because you have to realize that when you buy clothes and you're looking at these models, I can't see myself in that because I'm not your size. Even when I was a young child, I was always bigger than my friends. And I'm talking about I had a shape. Older men used to come at me, all that kind of things. And I thought something was wrong with me. So I used to try to starve myself because I wanted to be small like them. And as I got older and I look back at them pictures, I wasn't really big at all. It's a mental thing. You know, like you said, people make you look at yourself different. When I got older and I had children, of course, my body changed. And like I said, my weight went up and down, up and down. But at the age that I am now, I'm learning to love the skin that I am, the person that I am, the body. If I'm 5 pounds overweight or 5 pounds, whatever, underweight, I love it for where it is at that time in that moment. You know, it's sad that this generation makes women, if you don't have a big butt or if you don't have big breasts or big full lips or whatever else going on, it makes them feel bad because now we're competing, because we already compete with each other. So now we're competing with each other about having something that God gave you naturally. You know, women out here in different cultures are fighting to get what we have, you know. So I'm going to go back to Lizzo. I applaud her because she lives and loves the body that she's in. And anybody that comes for her or talk about her, to me, they don't love themselves. I don't care if they skinny, fit, or whatever. They don't love themselves if they're attacking another woman about the way she looks. We should celebrate it. We should celebrate every side that we are. The most important thing for me is health. If you 200 pounds, if you're working out, eating right, whatever, and healthy, because one thing I learned, the older you get, it's hard to take off that weight. Even if you're exercising, even if you're eating right, it's very, very hard to take off that weight. So that's why we have to be very, very careful how we deal with each other when it comes to body image.
Absolutely. And Alan Yankee says people's perception of you will make you question the reality of your grace and essence. And that is true, because I know for most women, we try to find that pair of jeans that we think we could wear, and we're just like, oh my God, I'm fat. No, there's nothing wrong with you. If you want to, as long as, my thing is, what makes the perfect body is if you exercise, make sure you take good care of your health. Of course, you can eat what you want. I'm not going to put no one on a strict diet and tell them what they can and cannot have. But some people take it to the extreme with these things, like somebody said, it goes back to, you know, people starving themselves, and you should not. You should just appreciate the beauty that God has given you. There's nothing wrong with you, absolutely not. And I wish you would just look in the mirror and tell yourself, Mary J. Blige wrote a whole song about it, Good Morning Gorgeous. And I know every morning when I look in the mirror, I tell myself, hello, beautiful, how are you doing? And I get it from so many people, even when I'm going out, even when I'm not like looking like this, like a Miss TV today, even when I'm out, they catch me and I'm slipping and I don't have the hair or the makeup or anything. I'm like, you think I'm pretty? So it's those things, just the little things that matter, is that you uplift yourself every morning. And that is the third topic we're going to talk about, which is affirmations. And I'm pretty sure my ladies here have affirmations that they go by every morning to get them going in the jobs and everything. We all have affirmations. That's the third topic. But I want to conclude this by saying this. Your body is beautiful. Your body is your temple. And nobody can tell you what to put in. Nobody can tell you that you need to do anything. And again, stop policing Black women's bodies. Please stop policing us, period. Because I'm about to get really controversial here and say the things that I know women at home that are watching this are thinking. And that is, the government has already put a hold on my body, on our body, and LGBT's body. So the last thing we need is somebody telling us what we can and cannot do with our bodies and how we are supposed to look as women when we're just doing our job. We're here trying to survive just like anybody else. Please stop policing Black women's bodies, because quite frankly, we're tired of it. We're quite frankly tired of you telling us that we need to look a certain way, the beauty standard a certain way, and the beauty standard is not how it was back in the day at all. Like Savannah and Danielle was just saying, you know, we're not all going to be stick thin, a size 2, a size 4. We're not.
And the thing is,
embrace it with a smile. Yes. Go ahead, Danielle. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, I was just gonna say, if you really look at it, it's to please everybody else. Everyone has an opinion, like so for you to be pleased with how I look, get out of my face. Like I don't have the energy to criticize somebody else because I'm too busy minding my own business. So conversations, when somebody is being critiqued, you know, whether it's like in the office or you're just out, I'm like, really? People think like this? Because I'm not looking at the next woman. I'm not looking at the next person, sizing them up in order to judge them. I have too many things to do than critique or attack somebody just on their outer appearance. That's all.
Right. When the industry does that to us enough with Black women, essentially, I'm going to add Jonathan Majors to the conversation. It's about featureism. It's about featureism. It's about desirability. Like, you guys can see my nose, and I have big lips. I was always teased for my lips in high school. And I said, I want to chop them up. I want to get them down inside. But my mom said, don't ever do that. Your mouth is your gift. What you're putting out into the universe and in the world, your lips do that. So don't ever think you need to change thing about yourself. The person who said that about you is something wrong with them. And that is true. There are people who will put you down just because they're not secure and
Getting themselves right.
themselves. They do it to bring themselves up, and they get off on it. They get off on it, and it's not right. So embrace your beauty, embrace your body. I was flipping through Cosmopolitan, and the cover had Cindy Crawford on it, and it was a Neutrogena ad, and it was for the y'all know the rain bath or whatever
Yeah.
it says spend 10 minutes in the nude and embrace everything, every flaw, every even Victoria's Secret. They went because we know that in the industry, photography, beauty imaging, beauty lighting, filters. She doesn't look like this. I can guarantee you. It's the illusion. It's what beauty is. And they do a lot of photo touch-ups and all of these things for magazine covers. So it says spend 10 minutes in the nude. You will embrace every stretch mark, every scar, every flaw. Those are your beauty marks. And they're there for a reason. So don't go and try to take it away. Don't try to remove it from a part of you. I know I have a scab on my leg. I fell off a bicycle when I was younger. And that's why I started wearing my legs out. All before, you would see me from head to toe covered in a pantsuit. But now my mama said, you get a little risque, aren't you? So I have no problem with showing off the legs. I have no problem with showing off that scar. And at the end of the day, it's about embracing what God has given you. If you have a scar, if you have, I know a lot of women get insecure, cellulite, stretch marks, all of these things. Victoria's Secret did a photo with one of the models, and the model was wearing a $1 million bra. And it was Japanese tattoos, and it was emerald, and they decided to wanted to touch up the photo. They accidentally leaked the photo of it under the touch. I said, she looks beautiful. She's got stretch marks on her leg. I said, that's how I look. That's how any regular real life woman would look. I know I got cellulite, and we want to get rid of it, but embrace it. Embrace it. It's a part of
I want to talk on that real quick about touch up. Like I did a lingerie photo shoot maybe 2-3 years ago, and the photographer asked me when he was showing me the pictures, and he was like, do you want any of these touched up? And I told him no. I said, because I don't look like that. I was like, I want to look like my natural self. I didn't want him to touch up nothing, not a blemish, not anything. And I post them pictures all the time. I post them like once a year, and they are not touched up. That's how I look. I didn't want him touching anything up. And I felt good about that. I really felt good about that. I was like, nope, don't touch nothing. Don't take nothing off. Allow people to see me as I am. I was already nervous doing it, but my whole purpose to do it because I wanted to feel good about myself. Like I said, you get older and things change, and you look at it and you be like, I remember when that wasn't there. Where'd that come from? So I just kept talking to my daughter, and I'm like, I want to do this photo shoot. I want to do this photo shoot. And she was like, Mom, go ahead and do it. But I'm all in my head about it. So I called like 3 photographers, and my brother found somebody that I was very comfortable. He brought a lot of stuff out of me. And when we sat down and he was like, I was like, no, the purpose of this, because I wanted to see myself as I am. And when I post them, that's what I want people to see. So, yeah.
Flawlessly. And that's the thing. We strive for perfection, but not everything is going to be perfect all the time. So embrace those flaws. All right. So we're going to phase into the second part of the conversation, which is on mental health. Now, I found this article, and I was reading some of it briefly before we came on, and it talks about Black women and mental health. So I'm going to read some of the information in this, okay? Black women face significant disparity in mental health care. Understanding why these differences occur requiring an appreciation for not only the multiple roles that Black women play in society, but also for the racial and social injustices we have faced historically. Now, the outlook for Black women often depends on the perspective. Some mental health providers believe that they are some of the most different people in the middle, often simultaneously experiencing racism, misogyny, sexism, and at times financial inequality. Others believe that the same concept makes Black women one of the most resilient groups around, which that's dangerous. I'm going to say, I'm going to tell you why it's dangerous, because the, it fits into the strong Black woman. All of these things that I read that wrote off that we from racism, sexism, misogyny, y'all are saying that we're resilient, but it ties into the strong Black woman category. And Taraji P. Henson touched on this about how dangerous the strong Black woman narrative is. Y'all thinking that we can literally, we literally can carry the world on our back when we have to deal with ourselves mentally as well too. Yes, yes, we're powerful. All of us as a collective, as African Americans and Black women, we faced so much, overcame so much, but there are days when I don't want to feel like I have to be strong. There are days when I just want to let it down and I just want to cry and be emotional and be held. I don't want to be the strong Black woman because that's dangerous. With all of the things that we're facing, from misogyny to racism, featureism to colorism, it's a lot. And it's a lot to put on our backs as Black women. So I kind of have to disagree with the resilient thing because, yes, we've been doing so much, but there are days when we just want to break down, pull the lashes off, and just let out a good cry, honey. I'm telling you. So, yes, but mental health. You've seen what happened with so many women that are speaking out on mental health. Taraji P. Henson is one of them. Jennifer Lewis. Missy Elliott surprised me when she even spoke about it. And I'm like, wow, as innovative as an entertainer as she is, as a rap artist, as a music artist in general, she's iconic, she's amazing, but we never knew what was going on behind the scenes. So when it comes down to us as people of color and mental health, we did this when I did my interview with Force MDs. Khalil asked me the question. He said, what advice would you give to young people on mental health? And I said, it's time for us to normalize it as people of color. And when I tell you, I'm so happy to see our people seek therapy and get out and say, okay, this doesn't feel right. I don't feel right today. Something, I'm not in it. I'm never going to be in it. I just am feeling it. You have to go and stand up and say, okay, I don't feel like myself today. Something doesn't feel normal. And I know for me, there are some days where I'm super emotional. And I don't think it's a woman thing. It's just a human thing. I think it's just, it's okay to cry. Because me, I always try to be the happy-go-lucky person. And everybody thinks that you're happy all the time. And you see me smile or laugh. But I'm just like, I go through stuff with family out in the real world too. Not just the glamour, the glitz, the happiness, Stevie, you guys see all the time. But I'm human just like everybody else. These women here on the panel, we're all human. And crying is normal. The thing about it is people are expected, us as people of color, oh, y'all are tough. Y'all can take it. Y'all 400 years of oppression. Y'all can take it. No, get help. God put therapists here for a reason. And I'm going to go back to the quote that I always say all the time. Faith without work is dead. If you know that you have to go get help. The resources are out there for you, for us as people. And I'm so proud to see our people take advantage of these resources. Break the cycle. And I talked about this with Vanya the first time we met. We talked about mental health. And breaking the cycle of stigma of what goes on in this house stays in this house. And in the Black household, that's what we've been taught for years, is that keep it behind closed doors. Don't tell nobody your business. Don't tell nobody. Just go and talk to God about it. No. If something is causing me trauma or something is causing me harm as a Black woman, I have the right to say, no, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it, especially when the weight of the world as a Black woman on my back, I have to worry about society and what they think we should be like, and all of these things, all of the comments. And that's why it's important that we take mental breaks and sometimes social media. I've seen some of my followers post, some of you guys that watch the show post and say, okay, I'm taking a break. It's okay to take a break. It's normal to unplug from technology at times. And I was driving past a doctor's office and they said, how often do you protect your mental peace and they had a sign and neon lights and everything, and it was floating, and it said, "How often do you protect your mental health, your peace? How often do you log off of social media?" And I said, "I take breaks. I come back and I check my messages periodically to see if anyone messages me back about an interview I live or anything like that. But other than that, I am home. I'm doing other things. I can have other things to do besides be on social media and stay on all day. I make my posts on fashion or whatever, let you guys know when everything's up and everything, and then I get off. So you have to separate yourself, because being on social media is like you're in an alternate world. And you have to step out of that alternate world for a minute and go into the real world. These two women that are sitting up under me, they're mothers. So they can't stay on social media. They're just like, okay, I'm here to do my business. I need to do what I need to do. I'm going to be an auntie. So, well, I am somebody's auntie. I have nieces and nephews. But listen, in the real world, we have family issues. We have things that we're going through. We can't sit and tend to everything every minute, because it takes a toll on us. Even watching the news, it's depressing sometimes, because you're seeing what's going on in the social climate that we're in, and it's like, oh my God, this is too much. I know when election time hit, and I'm pretty sure my lady Savannah and Danielle can relate. It was like the election was never ending, and I'm just like, oh Lord Jesus, what if we get stuck with this person another 4 years? I'm like, Lord, can't do it. Take the wheel, Jesus. But listen, it was like it was never ending. And I literally had to stop watching the news because it was so much going on at that time. But when it ended, I was just like, oh my God, that break is what I need. That break is what I need to get the coverage on. So it was a lot on all of us. Can normalizing asking people on a scale from 1 to 10, how are you mentally? And how can we get to a 10? And let me read the comment by Brother Scott, because you guys are chiming in. That made white women of color. That made feel like a woman of color made and do anything. Women wear so many hats to be boxed into one category. Black women are complex for not being, are complex, not because they are asked for or ever want to be. Yes, and another thing they do is they try to label them to, oh, she's difficult, she's aggressive, she's angry. So that ties into that, what Ty was saying. And Liz says it is so important to disconnect from social media and really look at your real life. Exactly. Let me see. And we got a couple questions from my brother, from our fraternal, Ali Yankee. He wants to know, how do you ladies mentally feel about being strong because you have to be? And the second one is, how do we feel about race lighting? And is it gaslighting that deals with race and skin color? Ladies, your thoughts?
You want to go? You can go.
Well, what was the first question again?
The first one was, how do we feel mentally about being strong because we have to be? The state was talking to the whole strong Black woman.
That ain't working for me. That is not working for me. And you didn't realize, sometimes you don't realize how much you're carrying, because you're just like, I've always been like, I gotta go, I have to deal with this or unpack this now, and then keep going. And then you keep going for years until your body or your mind is like, we're not doing this anymore. And I feel like it's expected of you, but you expect it of yourself. You just don't realize that taking a break is a choice, if you can. You know, I have seen therapists throughout I'm in my 40s, throughout life, you know, and it was something different each time. But the first time I was 18 or 19, and I was getting out of a domestic violence situation. But at 18 or 19, with very limited self-esteem, you're just trying to live every day. You're just trying to live every day. So I was seeing a therapist through the women's shelter, and then I started going to group therapy. But with my thinking at the time, I was like, these ladies have it worse than me. I'm no longer going to go to therapy, which was a bad move. Now, in hindsight, of course, because I would have learned a lot more about myself and I would have gotten further in life as far as the relationships that I had and how I allowed people to deal with me. Then at 28, I had like a nervous breakdown, like for real, where I was like on the fence about like suicide. I was there. And I didn't even know, as far as like taking care of your health and everything, I didn't even know that like taking a break was a thing, like FMLA, and I could have gotten paid time off of work to like heal. Like I didn't even know that was a thing. So I think a lot of times people just, the information isn't out there. They just don't know or have the resources, you know, because if you don't know what you need, you know, so I think, I don't know, prioritizing our health in its totality is a big deal, but that's got to start somewhere. And sometimes that's not at home. Sometimes that's not at home. You know, that's something that as we evolve as human beings, sometimes we just figure it out and it's hard. But I told myself I was not going to allow it to be a stigma. Like, yeah, I'm going to see my therapist. I have an appointment. That it's not. Because I have some friends. I have one friend in particular. He thinks it's weak to see a therapist. And I'm like, okay, but you can't keep running like this. You can't keep living. Something's going to happen. And there's no shame. There is absolutely no shame. No shame. And it was through therapy that I realized I had other issues. Like, even just something as basic as communicating well. I realized that's a skill, and that's one that I didn't have at the time. You know, so there's a lot of little things. People, I think, sometimes think therapy, there has to be some huge grand trigger to make it go, and that's not necessarily the case. You know, but seeing a therapist, you know, on and off, has really been beneficial to my growth as a person. My relationships changed because of it. So when we're talking about like removing ourselves from social media, things like that, do that with people too. So it's not just I'm gonna stay off my phone. I'm an introvert, but I'm an outgoing person, so that could be a little deceiving with people. So I have a lot of energy going out in my dealings and interactions with people, and if I'm not getting filled back up, then I gotta get it. I'm not gonna answer my phone. Sometimes I'll teach my friends, I'm gonna be unavailable for 3 or 4 days, just so I can refill my cup.
So for me, I grew up in a household and around women that was like stronger than the males. So I grew up with that kind of mindset, like to take charge and things like that. So when I got married, it was very hard to balance that because some things that person didn't step up to the plate. So it felt like I had to do it all. We had children. I couldn't allow this to happen. I couldn't allow that to happen. So I always just had to take charge and do a lot. And after my children got older, I didn't realize that it was a lot of weight on my shoulders until, like she was saying, I went to therapy and she started pointing out some things. And in your head, you think like, well, that's normal. Like, this is what you're supposed to do. This is your family. You don't want your family to suffer. You got to step up to the plate. You know, I always worked since I was 15 years old. I've been raising children. I helped my mother raise my cousin. You know, I helped run my mother's household. Then I had to run my household. You know, I worked. I took care of the house, everything. And you don't understand that. You think in your mind, like, all of that is what you're supposed to do. You just keep going, you keep going, you keep going, you keep doing, you keep doing. And then, like I said, when my children got older and I wasn't doing as much and I started feeling depressed, I started going through a lot of depression. And so I wanted to go seek someone to talk to. And when she started telling me, you know, and shout out to my therapist, she is so awesome. You know, she started putting things on the plate and showing me, like, you have this mentality where you want to help. And you want to do things and you want to make sure everybody is good, but you don't take care of yourself, you know, and then you don't get back what you give out, you know. So,
Yeah.
but to be honest, it was like I wasn't looking for things for it to come back. It was just like I just kept going because that's what I saw. My grandmother did it, my mother did it, my aunt did it. Majority of all the women that I was close to had that strong personality of taking charge and doing whatever they had to do to survive. But after a while, I had to learn how to lean back and allow things to happen. You know, if something didn't get done, oh well. Because, you know, we as women, we tend to put a lot on our shoulders because we have children, because we have careers and things like that. So we don't take that time out for ourselves. But these days I do. Going back to like you was talking about social media, when I get home, I take and put my phone down and I start doing other stuff. At night, I turn my phone off. At a certain time, my phone gets turned off. You know, I have somebody be like, well, you should never turn your phone off. You know, you run a business. You should never. And I'm like, oh, well, that's why, you know, leave a message and I'll get with you the next day, or email me because I'll get with it, you know, I'll answer that email. But you have to take that time out because if not, a lot of the pressure can come down on you, you know. So I feel like trying to be a strong person in this society, in this world, it's okay, but it's okay if you're not. You know, sometimes you gotta let things go. You gotta let things happen. You can't worry about every little thing. You can't take control of every little thing. Do what you can do and move on. Just do what you can do and move on.
Absolutely. And I've got some more stats here for you guys. Statistics tell us that about 25% of African Americans seek mental health treatment. And this is a study back in January of 2023, and compared to 40% of white Americans. Unequal access to health care is one major contributor to disparity. And it goes back to what Danielle says. Sometimes people don't have the resources to get therapy, to seek counseling. Nearly 10% of Black people in the U.S. do not have health insurance. 10%, compared to 5.2% of non-Hispanic white people. And women experience depression at rates twice that of men. Women of color. So it's crazy. There's got to be resources out here for people who need to seek counseling, who need to seek professional help, because you know that the eye rate is going up because people are sweeping things under the rug. Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be okay. No, it's okay to not be okay. There are days when I wake up in the morning and I ain't alive. I'm like, Lord Jesus, I can't do it today. I cannot. I do not feel like getting up, but I do it because of the support system that I get. Doing these conversations is what people love, and just the energy that I bring to it. That energy just comes natural. You know how they say you're on a natural high, you're on a high of happiness. It brings me joy to bring these conversations because these are people in real life. We're all real people in real life with real things that are going on, and people that are watching us can experience it and say, okay, I've been through that as well too. So when it comes to mental health, and what I'm proud of seeing as our Black men, ladies, our Black men speak up about mental health, because before men were just, it's that pride thing. Tell us, I'm sorry if you're watching this. I know they're going to eat me up for it, but Lord, sometimes it's the ego. Sometimes the male ego, they think it's so tough they can handle it all. No, you can't handle it all. Us as the wives, the girlfriends, the daughters, the sisters, the mothers, talk to us. That's why you have the women in your life there, your girlfriend, your wife, whomever, whatever woman's in your life. Talk to us, because sometimes we won't, we can't read your mind. We won't know unless you talk to us, Black men. And that's why we're here, to understand what you're going through. And the same goes for me too. We communicate, we talk to each other. In order to have a successful relationship, that's a whole other conversation. But in order for us to understand each other, we have to communicate with one another. We have to. especially when it comes to mental health. But back to the male pride. The male pride thing is men think they're so tough they can think, but then when they get sick, that's when they really start to cry like babies. Oh Lord, don't let them get sick. But listen, what I'm proud of seeing is Black men speak up about mental health. Because before they would try to just walk it off, shrug it off, like, nah, I ain't going to no counseling. I don't want to look like Danielle said, weak. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's totally normal to show emotion. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you less of a man. It makes you human. And that's what we want you guys, for us as Black women, we want y'all to, Black men, to understand us and say, it's okay to cry in front of us. We're here. We're here to be a shoulder to cry on, to cuddle you, to hug you. Sometimes you just need a hug. Sometimes you just let your woman hug you. It's nothing like a Black woman's hug. When my grandmother hugs me and gives me words of encouragement, I feel like I'm 8 years old all over again. And the thing that I would tell my 8-year-old self, when it, the trauma and stuff that I've experienced, me being a woman that's about to hit her 30s right now, I'm 29, what I would go back and tell my 8-year-old self is, it's okay. This too shall pass. God got you. And you are a survivor. You are here. You have a purpose. You have a reason to live. You have a reason to be there. For anybody who's had that dark thought, that dark demon in the back of your head or in the back of your ear, because y'all have seen shows where they have the good angel on your shoulder, and then they have the bad angel on your shoulder, and you got that one angel, do it. So it's just like, no, don't take your life. You have a reason to live. You have a reason to be here. You have people who love you and care about you. And my mom would always tell me, when I ever get those dark thoughts, I'm here, and my mom's still alive. Most people don't have their mom to talk to. So find someone to talk to. The resources are out there. There's people who care in this world. Millions, lots of people worldwide for us to talk to whenever we're going through. All right? So that is the second part of the conversation, mental health. Let's get into something a little bit more positive. As you guys see, we all glowing up here. Affirmations, positive affirmations. Now, I talked a little bit about I referenced Mary J. Blige, Good Morning Gorgeous, being one of the affirmations. But another one of the affirmations that I tell myself in the morning, and I'm going to take it and turn it over to my ladies, is you are incredible. You have positivity surrounding you. You're divinely protected by God. Those are some of my affirmations. I get up and I literally wipe the coal out of my eyes. Listen, we don't look like this in the mornings. We ladies do not look like this in the mornings. I'm telling you, it takes a village for us to look this good. Ladies, if you know, you know. All right? So fellas who think we can just roll over in the bed and just wake up and look like a supermodel, no, that ain't the case. I don't look like this when I wake up. I look like Aunt Esther. But, but literally, oh my God, those are some of the affirmations that I would tell myself, is that you're incredible. You're divinely protected by God. All of us, we're divinely protected by God because we have a purpose to live here. We have a purpose to breathe, to exist, to exude life. We have a purpose to inspire people, to enrich people. And another one of my affirmations is you are invincible. You've conquered the storm, because being in this country, being women that work in the industry, all three of us, I work in the fashion and beauty side. We have my girl Danielle, who's an actress who's been on film set. You have my girl Savannah, who's worked with models and actors. And we all come from a certain aspect of the entertainment business where we face some sort of obstacles as women of color, Black women, where the industry has told us, no, you can't do this because you're Black. You can't do this because you're a woman. We've broken those glass ceilings down so that other Black women can come after us and say, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. So that's why I say I'm invincible, because to this day, the success that we have, we're still going to face some sort of obstacle. And It's our jobs to not let those obstacles stop us from conquering the greater of what we need to do to get to the next level. So those are my affirmations in a nutshell. So I'm gonna pass it on down to my ladies because I'm pretty sure they have some beautiful affirmations too.
Go ahead, Miss Danielle.
Well, I tell you what. Oh, okay. My go-to affirmation that I use the most is that I am a force of nature.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I embody all of the elements, and I can feel it on the spiritual level as well as the physical level. And I used to wonder, I used to be like, what is going on inside of me? Because when I'm my most creative, whether I'm writing or whatever I'm doing, it's just flowing out of me. But it almost feels like on an otherworldly level, like it's not me. Because sometimes I'm like, where did I get all this energy? And it just feels like I'm just not alone. And so I call it a force, and I literally feel like I am a force of nature. And that all the elements are just keeping me going. So when I speak those things, this affirmation is what will get me back in line when I'm feeling, I can be mad about something, but I'm like, I'm a force of nature, that I have the ability to affect everyone in the room in a positive way, sure. And I can see it too. So it's not just a matter of me seeing it. I have evidence of it. So that is my go-to.
Okay, so I wrote down some affirmations, and they are self-love affirmations. So I have 3. So one is to release any stress and anxiety that is flowing through the body. The second one is I acknowledge and appreciate all of my wonderful, amazing, miracle qualities. And my last one is it's okay to feel any feeling. Release everything inside you. Just feel it. Just take it on. Whatever the world puts on you, just take it on. So that's my 3 love affirmations.
Come on. There we go. And to conclude this conversation, I'm going to let my ladies know. I'm going to say this. Pick up some affirmation, write them down in your journal. I was scrolling through Instagram here, and I follow, Black Girl Mental Health, or one of the sites here. And they said, write down 7 things you like about yourself. And I went and I did that. And I said, oh my God, I have so many things that I like about myself. And that would be my assignment to anyone out there. You do it randomly on your time. Or some people put notes in their phone. I would suggest that, social media. But no, find a notepad in your phone and just jot down 7 things you like about yourself. What makes you incredible? And to anyone out there, take these affirmations into consideration, because we all have something incredible about ourselves and a strength about ourselves we didn't even know we had. The strength is inside of you. Sometimes it's like, I can't do it. Take that can't and turn it into can. It's a picture that literally says that. It's cutting the T off and says can. So you take whatever you feel you can't do and turn it into a can. And I've had people say, oh, well, you can't because you're a woman. You can't because you're too dark, you're too this, too that. Throughout my high school years, I was making a lot. And those people that look at people, it's so funny that they're now watching the platform and they're seeing the success of it, and they're saying, wow, you're not who you were years ago. Yes, because I've changed and life experience has taught me you can't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. And I choose not to go back into that market or identity. I want to come out of the storm and on top, trying out things. So write down an affirmation that makes you feel good and quote that affirmation. I did it. I took my lipstick and I wrote it in the mirror just so that I can remember it every morning. Do something incredible, and that will be my last part. So without that, this was an amazing girl talk. I'm on board because I love the ladies up here. We have such a good time. I want my ladies to impart some pearls of wisdom to young Black women that are watching this. Because in any position, I know Danielle is an actress, is a writer. There's Black women, young Black women, young girls, and young boys, Black and brown, that are looking up to all 3 of us and saying, wow, These are three powerful Black women on top. So, for my ladies, what pearls of wisdom would you give to the next generation that is following in our footsteps?
Don't let anyone else define you. Define who you are. You do that. And you don't need anybody else to validate you. And make sure you take your mental health as important as you do your physical health. And just to try to live at the highest level of vibration that you can.
Well, I'm going to be real short. Real short. It's really simple. You know, you always put whatever religion you serve or whatever religion you pray to, always put God first, no matter what you do in your life. Make sure you put him first. Make sure prayer is it's in your everyday routine. You know, I get up in the morning and I pray. I pray when I get in my car. I pray, you know, right. I pray during the day. You know, I stop and make a little prayer. So, you know, you are your best at all times, even when you're at your worst. So make sure you put the Creator first and foremost in everything that you do in your life.
Absolutely. And this is Girl Chat with the fabulous Danielle Ward and Savannah McIntosh. Ladies, let everyone know where they can follow y'all and check out your businesses and support. And I will be tagging up and down so that y'all make sure y'all go and follow these amazing, brilliant, beautiful Black women.
Well, you can follow me here on IG, Danielle.D. Ward. My website is danielledward.com. And if you want to reach out via email, it's Danielle_DWard@yahoo.com. I would love to hear from you guys.
You can find me on Facebook as Savannah McIntosh, which is my government name. And on Instagram it's Savvy Events brand, Savvy Models Life, and Savvy ET Corner. And I just want to put out there that if you're in the Baltimore, D.C., Virginia area, May 13th, I'm having a rebranded fashion show, artist showcase, and vendor showcase. If you want to come out, tickets are available now on Eventbrite, or you can hit me up and get tickets from me. So I hope y'all come out and enjoy something that's going to be very wonderful.
Yes, y'all make sure y'all go and support these women's businesses. Support Black women's businesses, period. Because Black people, we are the culture. Black women, we are the movement. We are everything, and we keep the movement going. So please go and support these ladies. Join me Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Jamal Benny. So I needed this. This is like my waiting to exhale moment, because throughout the week, I've been surrounded by all these men, and I'm just like, oh my God. Oh, I needed this girl talk. I needed this. Thank you so much, ladies. And we definitely got to do it again in the future.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Welcome, ladies. Y'all take care, and y'all have a blessed Friday, Fashion Dolls. And make sure you head on over and subscribe to Style by Steve Talk. Will be uploaded, and you guys can catch it here on Instagram. I love you all, and I will see you guys Monday. Next week, also joining me, we have Bubbles, the Diamond. So make sure you guys tune in Friday for that. Take care, everyone.
All right.